Hi, we're in the book of Revelations of St. John the Divine, chapter 8, verses 1 through 13. Verse 1 reads, "And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. In the smoke of the incense, which came with the prayers of the saints, ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there were voices, and thundering, and lightnings, and an earthquake. And the seven angels, which had the seven trumpets, prepared themselves to sound. And the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire, mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. And the third part of the sea became blood. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. And the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood. And many men died of the waters, because they were made bitter. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, in the night likewise. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of the heaven. I'll read that again. And I heard and I beheld. This is verse 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, "Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by the reason of the other voices of the trumpet out of the three angels which are yet to sound." So that is chapter 8 of the book of Revelations, verses 1 through 13. So let's address verse 1 of chapter 8 of the book of Revelations. And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silent in heaven about the space of an hour. Now, the word silent is not referring to not noises, but it's referring to not speaking. In other words, hush. It's hush. It's a hush time. That's what it's talking about. Yeah. So, why? Because the judgment, the introduction to the judgments that's about to happen. We're going to read on. And I saw, this is verse 2. And I saw, John said, I saw. Remember, it's John. The seven angels, which stood before God, were in the face of God. And to them were given 7 trumpets. All of them was given a trumpet. Verse 3, chapter 8. And another angel came and stood at the altar. Remember, the altar is a place of sacrifice. Yes. Having a golden censer. Having a golden censer. Now, the censers, if we recall, the golden censers, it's a vessel. It's a vessel in which to burn incense. So you got that. And there was given unto him much incense, frankincense, perfume, that he should offer it with prayers of all saints upon the altar which was before the throne. Let's go to verse 4. We just left verse 3. In the smoke of the incense, which came with prayer of the saints, ascended up before God, in the face of God, out of the angel's hand. God doesn't accept all prayers, but these are the saints, so he's accepting these. In the angel, verse 5 of chapter 8, and the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. He cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thundering, and lightning, and an earthquake. Let's go to verse 6 of chapter 8, the book of Revelations. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. They got in preparation for it. Verse 7, chapter 8. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. So this ain't the day of, this is the day of, this is judgment coming upon people. And they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees were burnt up. Third part is like 33%. 1/3 of the earth trees burned up. And all green grass was burnt up. It looks pretty bad. And that it said with blood, it actually was talking about blood. The blood. And the second, now the blood would burn up is figuratively talking too. Verse 8, chapter 8. And the second angel sounded, as it were a great mountain. That's what it said. Burning with fire was cast into the earth. And the third part of the sea became blood. And look what happened. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died. And the third part of the ships were destroyed. So judgment. This is all judgment. Not against the saints, against those that are opposing of God. And verse 10 of chapter 8, the book of Revelations. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, a great meteor. Guess what was happening with it? Look at it. Burning as it were a lamp. Well, you see in the tabernacle, you see the burning, the lamps burning, or they're burned, of course, we know is by, it doesn't matter what they were burning by, but of course it was olive oil. But this is a great star he saw, a meteor that looked, it was huge and was burning like a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and then where else? And upon the fountains of water. And look at the results of this. And the name of the star is called, after we get to that, Wormwood. Wormwood is, if you look in the natural, wormwood is a bitter plant. And a delirious of it, figuratively, is talking about calamity. And the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters, yes, because they were made bitter. Verse 12, chapter 8, the book of Revelations. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon. So the third part of the sun was smitten, the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars. So as the third part of them were darkened, they were darkened. Pretty sad, isn't it? And the day shone not for a third part. So part of that, 30% of it, that didn't shine. It was dark. In the night, likewise, in the same manner. They were deprived light. 33%. You imagine how that looked today. We can't be deprived light too long. Our bodies can't handle that. We got to have sun. We got to have that vitamin D3. I can get into detail with that, but in the medical field, because that's what I'm in. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a PA at this time or MD, but I'm licensed in other parts of the health field. And I can explain that, but this is not. So, yeah, you're going to have issues if you don't have enough light in certain places. You can see the studies, some of the studies about people that don't have much light. Anyway, Revelation cover that too. Okay, so we at verse 12, and we said at night likewise, so it was darkened, 33%. The moon didn't show its best. It was lacking 33%. The sun was lacking 33%. And it's really not funny, in the stars. Oh my God. This stuff have not happened, excuse me. Verse 13. When they do, the people that live and still on this earth alive will get revelation. Just like when not Moses, but Noah was preaching to them, rain. They haven't received rain before. They always receive like a fog or something that, moisture that comes upon the earth and took care of the vegetation. Never received rain. But one day, after all of that preaching, They heard it, and it came to their mind, you trust me, what he was preaching about, trying to get them into the ark. It was too late for them. The Lord shut the ark up. But I can imagine that they were in their houses or they were outside in the field working, and all of a sudden they felt drops. Not dewdrops, but rain. And all of a sudden they remembered, but it was too late. And it started raining some more and more. They never had rain before. So it's good to be attentive and listen to the word of God and follow him and trust in him before you have to go through these situations that these folks are going through. That's why people need to be born again. So let's cover the last verse in chapter 8. And I beheld and heard it said, I beheld, that means he saw with an exclamation mark, and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven. He was allowed to see all of this stuff, saying with a loud voice, woe, 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 great sorrow, trouble, to the inhabitants of the earth by the reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels, which are yet to sound. So that's going to go, we're going into chapter 9, and we see what's going on there. But this is the book of Revelations of St. John the Divine, chapter 8, verses 1 through 13. And I hope you stay tuned for the other chapters, if the Lord's willing, allow me to go to the next one. Because if we are in this mortal body, but I believe, of course, that I'm going to be able to cover the Revelation and other books in the Bible again and again for a very long time. But if the Lord does not, I'm just letting you know that, the Lord has done great things for me. Let's move on. We'll be in chapter 9. Love you, and cover this chapter and all the other chapters that we went over, we addressed it. And have your family members sit down. You don't have to subscribe and all of that stuff, because some of you all have to come like Nicodemus at night, because you don't want everybody to know yet that you are taking a peep of Jesus. Because this is what Revelations is about, Jesus. The revelation of Jesus, the uncovering of Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's what it means. So stay tuned. Love you. And I hope and pray by the Lord Jesus Christ I'll be able to get with you again on chapter 9 and so on. Bye and love you.